Hello, and welcome to Read Us a Story. What shall we read today? How about The Knight Who Said No by Lucy Rowland and Kate Hindley. Once inside a castle lived a little knight called Ned, who always picked his toys up and who always made his bed. Ned, in all the village, was the one and only child. He was polite and kind and helpful. He nodded and he smiled. When asked to do the washing up, "Yes," is what he said. When asked to fetch the firewood, he would rush off to the shed. When asked to pick the cabbages, Ned wouldn't whine or stress. He always answered straight away, and always answered, "Yes!" And when each night the dragon came, swooping through the sky, the knights would holler, "Get inside!" And "Yes!" Ned would reply. This happened each and every night. The dragon circled down and frightened all the grown-ups as she swept around the town. They'd rush inside their cottages. "Phew, that was close," they'd say. But Ned would watch the dragon as she slowly flew away. He thought he heard the dragon sigh and give a little groan. Ned wondered, is she just like me? Perhaps she's all alone. But then Ned's parents said good night and told him, "Bedtime, Ned." And what would Ned say? "Yes!" Of course. And off he'd go to bed. Until the morning Ned awoke and something strange occurred. When Mum said, "Son, please fetch the milk," Ned found a different word. He felt quite odd, all hot inside and cross from top to toe. He shook his head from side to side, and then Ned answered, "No!" His mum was shocked. She stood and stared as Dad came in to say, "Will you help me, Ned, my lad? The tournament's today." "Now, can you find my shield?" he asked, "my arrow and my bow?" But Ned still felt all prickly, and so he answered, "No!" Well, that was just the start of it. The no's came thick and fast. "No!" Ned told the butcher when he wanted to get past. "No!" Ned told the baker when she wanted Ned to pay. "No!" Ned told the fisherman, "We don't want fish today." His parents couldn't understand. What has got into Ned? They called him in. "It's time for tea!" But "No!" Ned shook his head. Suddenly, Ned heard a whoosh and saw a flash of light. The dragon, with her shiny teeth, came soaring through the night. The knights all shouted, "Get inside! Quick, hurry, Ned!" they said. But Ned clenched up his fists so tight and, "No!" yelled Ned. The dragon circled in the sky, then landed on the ground. Hand on hips, Ned waited, but the dragon made no sound. So Ned walked slowly up to her and poked her on the toe. "You're supposed to roar," Ned said. The dragon whispered, "No, I'm so fed up of roaring, and I'm rather lonely too. I wonder," sniffed the dragon, "if there's room to stay with you." Ned looked quite uncertain, and he nearly answered no. But when he saw the dragon's tears, his cross began to go. He didn't feel so prickly. His angry was no more. He felt a little brighter, sort of lighter than before. Then Ned looked at the dragon, trying so hard to impress, and thought,
"There's just one thing to say,"
he told the dragon.
"Yes."
The dragon loved her brand new home. She loved to play with Ned. She even loved her jobs, like fetching firewood from the shed. And if Ned felt bad-tempered, which he did once in a while, he'd go and find the dragon, who could always make him smile. Then sometimes Ned would hear a shout of "Bedtime!" from below, and mostly Ned would answer,
"Yes!"
but sometimes Ned said no. And that was The Knight Who Said No. I hope you enjoyed that. If you did, be sure and like the video. And remember, you can always subscribe to the channel at Read Us a Story. Thanks. Bye! Hello, and welcome to Read Us a Story. What shall we read today? How about Princess Sleepyhead and the Night-Night Bear by Peter Bentley and Laura Ellen Anderson. The moon's in the sky, and the kingdom's asleep. The cows are all slumbering, so are the sheep. The ducks are tucked up in the roots of the willow. The rabbit is drowsily nibbling his pillow. All the king's horses are snug in the stable. His poodles are cuddled up under the table. The ladies in waiting are all in their beds. The guards have dozed off with their caps on their heads. The king's having dreams about driving a train. The queen's having dreams about chocolate again. The palace is silent. The lights are all out. But hold up a moment. Who's up and about? "I can't get to sleep," Princess Sleepyhead said. "I'm fed up with tossing and turning in bed. I've tried dropping off on my side in my tummy. I've tried lying still on my back like a mummy. I've tried counting sheep, but it's no use at all. I've tried counting all of the spots on my wall. I can't get to sleep. I simply can't do it. So I'll stay up all night. And that's all there is to it." "To it, to woo, did you say? To who to you too?" said the owl at the window. "Good evening to you. Are you still wide awake? Well, that isn't right. A princess," he said, "should be sleeping at night. I'll fetch my 3 friends. They'll know what to do." Then off fluttered Owl with another to-hoo. Soon after, the princess heard 3 little knocks, and in came the owl with a mouse and a fox. Mouse said, "A good bit of running about is just what you need to tire you out." First they played hide and squeak, followed by chase. Then they had fun in a wheelbarrow race. "Now then," said Fox as they fell in a heap, "you must be exhausted and ready for sleep." "Oh no," laughed the princess. "I want to play more. I'm even more wide awake now than before." The princess sat down on the end of her bed and sighed. "Well, I'll stay up all night, like I said." "Oh-ho!" chuckled Owl. "But please don't forget, I said I'd bring 3 friends. There's one to come yet. I think I just heard him outside on the stair." Then into the room stepped a big, friendly bear. "My name is Bartholomew Brown Fur Bear Brown. I hear there's a princess who can't settle down. Some people call me the Sleepy Time Ted. Perhaps I can help you," the friendly bear said.
Probably not.
Princess Sleepyhead sighed.
Mouse, fox, and owl have already tried.
"There's a princess who can't get to sleep in my book," said the bear. "Snuggle down while I just take a look." The princess lay down, and Bartholomew read of a tiny pea under a princess's bed that kept her awake all the night until dawn.
How daft,
Princess Sleepyhead said with a yawn. Bartholomew said, "Shall I read you another?" as he plumped up her pillows and pulled on the cover.
She whispered. "Oh, yes, please."
And he started to tell of a princess who went to sleep under a spell. "She slept for 100 long years, so they say. Then a handsome young prince came and woke her one day." Bartholomew tucked up the drowsy princess. "Shall I finish the story?" she murmured.
Oh, yes. What woke her up?"
The bear said, "A kiss. Perhaps it was something a little like this." Then the bear and his friends whispered, "Night, night, sleep tight," as they slipped from her bedroom and into the night. The end. And that was Princess Sleepyhead and the Night-Night Bear by Peter Bentley and Laura Ellen Anderson. I hope you enjoyed that. If you did, be sure and like the video. And remember, you can always subscribe to the channel at Read Us a Story. Thanks. Bye. Hello, and welcome to Read Us a Story. What shall we read today? How about The Terribly Friendly Fox by Susanna Lloyd and Ellie Snowden. It was the night of the party. There had been so much to do. But now the dance floor was polished and the chandelier was shining. And this was the finishing touch. Ta-da! Just in time too, because here were the guests. How splendid they looked! I was wearing my new bow tie, quite daring though I do say so myself. But then an unexpected guest arrived. Oh dear me! Several of the elderly rabbits fainted, and Mr. Wilberforce hid in the trifle. After all, we had heard some rather alarming things about foxes, and this was the wily fox, was it not? But it turns out we had misunderstood. He explained that he was an entirely reformed character. He had changed his name to Gerald and was now a vegetarian. Well, we needn't have worried. Gerald turned out to be the life and soul of the party. He proposed a toast to new friends. How very charming! Such delightful manners, too. But it looked like some of our guests were a little late for dinner, I do hope Gerald didn't think they were being rude. And boy, could that fox sing! But goodness me, who had forgotten to eat up their delicious puddings? And why ever did the music end so suddenly? Anyway, no one seemed to mind, because Gerald was making the most marvellous balloons for everyone. Even the voles, who are usually so shy and retiring, were queuing up to get one. Don't let go now. And then Gerald had the most amusing idea. What could be better than a spot of musical chairs? Ready, steady, go! I squeaked. Only, how very odd. Someone must have put out too many chairs. No matter, because after that, Gerald put on a dazzling show of conjuring tricks. He even made Lady Agatha's gold pocket watch disappear before our very eyes. Bravo! We all cheered. Gerald promised he would make a few more things disappear later on, if we insisted. Do you know, I don't think we've ever met anyone quite so suave and debonair. Why, he even swept Margaret clean off her feet. How we all lost ourselves in the dancing. Talk about the time of our lives. Whatever was next? Oh, yes. As Gerald said, a party isn't a party without a game of hide and seek. No peeking, I promised. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, coming, ready or not. What clever hiding places they must have found. But how very rude I was. I almost forgot to offer Gerald one of our little nibbles. He said not to worry. The other guests had been keeping him well fed. In fact, he was a trifle full, but might be able to fit in one last bite. Now the night was nearly over. There was just enough time to play pin the tail on the donkey. Mind you, it did turn out to be a tad more tricky than I thought. What with the polished floor. Whoopsie! Oh, terribly sorry, madam. Do please excuse me. You know, I'm surprised we didn't have some sort of an accident. Well, I never, I gasped. It turned out I'd hit the target after all. Hooray! But my goodness me, where was everyone? I suppose they must have all gone home. Well, I'm sure I speak for us all when I say it was the best party we've ever had. But I was rather exhausted. Perhaps Gerald can host the party next year. And that was The Terribly Friendly Fox by Susanna Lloyd and Ellie Snowden. I hope you enjoyed that. If you did, be sure and like the video. And remember, you can always subscribe to the channel at Read Us a Story. Thanks. Bye!